The Galactic Empire's fleet drifted silently in the cold void, a fortress of sleek, ominous ships poised just beyond Earth's orbit. It was a collection of the Empire's finest, imposing warships with shimmering shields, cannons capable of incinerating continents, and stealth systems that had yet to fail in thousands of campaigns. To them, this was just another, primitive, conquest, hardly worth their full might. Their intelligence reports marked humans as barely beyond their planet's atmosphere. A mild threat at best. In the flagship's command deck, a swarm of screens fed tactical data to High Commander Karek. His eyes narrowed on a live projection of Earth. It was small, blue, lush, a backwater world with a reputation for dangerous climates and hostile wildlife. That, he mused, was the only reason the Empire hesitated to occupy Earth directly. It was far too volatile. The rumors about Earth's lethal ecosystems had become a standing joke in the Empire's ranks. Karek shook his head. Send our surrender demand. Let's see if these humans have enough intelligence to comply without making this messier than it needs to be. He nodded to an officer, who quickly transmitted the Empire's standard ultimatum. Earth authorities, you face the Galactic Empire. Surrender now, and we will accept your compliance with limited reprisal. Resistance will be met with overwhelming force. Several seconds passed before a screen blinked to life, showing the face of a human in a dark, plain uniform. The man's calm expression surprised Karek, who'd expected terror or groveling. This is Captain Lang, the man stated, his tone casual. I see you've parked a fleet on our doorstep. May I help you? Karek stifled his annoyance. Captain Lang, your planet is vastly outmatched. Acknowledge surrender, and our terms will be minimal. Lang raised an eyebrow, then chuckled, a short, mocking laugh that sent murmurs through Karek's officers. Surrender? Look, we might not have your fancy tech, but we've got enough to put up a decent fight. He shrugged, flashing a crooked grin. Besides, don't you think the whole big bad Empire routine is a bit dated? Karek's eyes narrowed. This insolence from a supposed primitive was intolerable. You don't seem to understand your situation. We are the dominant force in this galaxy. Resistance is both futile and foolish. Lang's face brightened with a smirk. Oh, we understand, all right. But you're in our neighborhood now, and we don't take kindly to bullies. Another officer tried to stifle a chuckle, adding, Yeah, this dominant force thing isn't really impressing us. Maybe try a different pitch next time? Karek clenched his jaw. Captain Lang, your arrogance will cost you. We will proceed with force. He motioned to his weapons officer, who primed the ship's cannons for a targeted strike. Lang's expression didn't change. Well then, fire away. But I'd keep a close eye on your ship's readouts if I were you. We've got a few surprises ready. He paused, a gleam in his eyes. Let's see how advanced your tech really is. The screen cut out. Karek, seething, ordered his fleet forward. They'd blast these arrogant humans back to the Stone Age. As they surged towards Earth, the command deck screens displayed Earth's defense fleet, a scattered group of ships, nothing more than outdated scrap by the Empire's standards. Still, they moved with coordinated precision, positioning themselves between the Empire and Earth. This baffling confidence only fueled Karek's rage. Engage at will, he commanded. His officers launched the first volley of energy blasts, a shower of searing beams aimed at the human fleet. But before they reached their targets, the beams fizzled out, arcs of light dissipating as if hitting a wall. Karek's eyes widened as a sensor officer reported. Our weapons are offline, High Commander. Some sort of electromagnetic interference. Impossible! Karek barked. Find the source and recalibrate. Before the Empire could react, the human fleet began to retaliate. Missiles launched from their patched-together ships, appearing rudimentary and mismatched, yet each packed an unexpected payload. As the missiles struck, bursts of static and pulse waves disrupted the Empire's shields and scrambled their targeting systems. Human engineers must have retooled obsolete tech with devastating effectiveness, and Karek watched, stunned, as the Empire's shields flickered. Return fire! Karek ordered, but his command only heightened the chaos. The human fleet had spread out, executing unpredictable maneuvers that threw off the Empire's targeting systems. Like pieces of an intricate puzzle, they moved in unison, weaving through the Empire's beams and leaving the massive warships firing aimlessly at empty space. Frustration mounted on the command deck. The humans' erratic tactics and relentless humor, broadcast with each encounter, only amplified the Empire's growing confusion. Captain Lang's voice cut through the static. "Nice try! Did we mention we got the best scrapyard mechanics in the galaxy? We thought we'd bring a little extra firepower, just for you." The human crew's laughter echoed through the Empire's channel, a sound so foreign and unsettling that Karek's officers looked to him, uncertain. Their usual air of superiority was dissipating, and Karek's confidence faltered for the first time. As the Empire's fleet recalibrated, its officers were rattled. They had encountered resistance before, but none like this. No one had ever dared to mock them outright, and the unpredictability of the human tactics was unnerving. Their ships looked like mismatched relics, patched together from eras long past. Yet each one seemed to bristle with purpose, a testament to a species that, though outgunned, wouldn't simply roll over. Karek issued a direct order to initiate another assault, this time with a focus on strategic decimation. The fleet's weapons recalibrated, adjusting to bypass the human interference. Within seconds, blasts surged toward Earth's ships, each one calibrated to punch through their shields. But the humans had anticipated the strike. Captain Lang's voice came over their intercoms, broadcasting mock instructions to brace for impact. Just before the Empire's attacks made contact, human vessels scattered into new formations, zigzagging and weaving in a way that broke every military protocol the Empire had ever encountered. It was pure chaos, yet disturbingly effective. Karek stared, baffled, as the energy beams missed their marks again, scattering harmlessly across empty space. The human ships were moving too erratically, too unpredictably. He slammed his fist down. "They're playing with us! No discipline, no structure, no logic!" He glanced at his tactical advisor, who could only shake his head in response, equally mystified. Meanwhile, Captain Lang's voice broke in again. "You're a little off today, Commander. Those auto-targets need some maintenance. Or are you guys just aiming for the scenic view?" The humans' laughter rang out once more, filling the bridge of every Empire ship with a mocking reminder that this wasn't going according to plan. Then came something Karek hadn't seen before, a series of smaller, nimble drones launched from the human fleet. They were unsophisticated, mismatched in design, and far from elegant. Yet as they zipped toward the Empire's warships, they split into smaller waves, each loaded with EMP pulses. The moment the drones collided with their hulls, Empire's ships shuddered, systems flickering as the EMP blasts scrambled their defenses. The mighty shields that once made them nearly invincible were now faltering, vulnerable to even the smallest human attacks. Desperation crept onto the faces of Karek's officers. They looked to him, hoping for a quick, decisive order, but even he couldn't deny that the situation was spiraling out of his control. For the first time, the Empire's calm, superior facade was cracking. Lang's laughter, easygoing yet tinged with a predatory edge, cut through the calms. "See, we humans love underdog stories. This one's shaping up nicely, don't you think?" Karek was at a loss, a realization that made him bristle with frustration. "What are they doing?" he muttered, unable to grasp the human strategy. Every attempt to apply their own highly regimented, efficient battle plans only resulted in misfires and embarrassingly futile strikes. The humans, it seemed, weren't playing by any rulebook the Empire knew. The Empire's ships tried to regroup, organizing for a new, focused assault, when another surprise from the humans landed, this time in the form of heavy artillery rounds aimed at the Empire's flagship itself. These rounds weren't sophisticated either, but they packed enough raw force to break apart the Empire's precision-built defense arrays. A shudder went through the flagship as one of the rounds detonated against its shields, causing power levels to dip alarmingly. Karek, shaken but resolute, activated his ship's intercom. "This is nothing more than brute defiance," he insisted to his crew, fighting to maintain control. "They cannot sustain this madness. continued to close in. Yet each attempt to close the gap was met with an infuriating level of resistance. The humans adapted on the fly, displaying a staggering disregard for their own safety. Karek watched with disbelief as several human vessels sacrificed themselves to disable the Empire's firepower, ramming into shield generators and targeting sensors. They maneuvered their ships with a reckless abandon that his fleet, bound by its precise protocols and meticulous calculations, simply couldn't match. In the midst of this, Lang's voice reappeared. "You know, we've got an old saying down here, if you're going through hell, keep going. And right now, I think we're having a lot more fun than you are." Karek gritted his teeth. In his career, he had never faced an enemy that thrived on chaos, that welcomed it as eagerly as humans did. Every attempt to strike them was met with new, unorthodox counterattacks. It was almost as though they were inventing strategies mid-battle, each one as bewildering as the last. Even as the Empire's fleet recalibrated again, preparing for a full-powered blast, their comms crackled with yet another message from Lang. "Hey, commanders, don't think we didn't notice you getting all worked up over there. But here's the thing, we've got a pretty long history of fighting for things we care about. And no offense, but you're not the first Empire that thought it could just walk over us." Karek clenched his fists, his calm shattered by the realization that these humans were not intimidated by them at all. They were, unbelievably, enjoying this. Lang's words, that defiant attitude, began to spread a sense of discomfort, and even dread among the Empire's officers. Karek could see it on their faces, uncertainty, the sense that they had somehow stumbled into a battle they couldn't comprehend, let alone control. In desperation, Karek ordered a final, all-out offensive, directing every available weapon toward the human ships. But as the Empire launched what it intended to be its decisive blow, the human fleet again defied them, scattering, adapting, and counterattacking with renewed intensity. It was as if they were taunting them, playing a deadly game that the Empire couldn't even begin to understand. For the first time, Karek was forced to confront the truth. These humans, despite their primitive tech and haphazard tactics, weren't just resisting, they were winning. The Galactic fleet struggled to regain control as chaos continued to ripple through its ranks. The once confident officers found themselves battling a tide of confusion and frustration. The human ships danced across the battlefield like wildfires, flickering in and out of visibility, launching audacious assaults that were becoming increasingly unpredictable. It felt as if they were testing the limits of the Empire's capabilities, each maneuver taunting the Galactic forces. Captain Lang, reveling in the absurdity of it all, knew they had the upper hand. The humans had learned quickly, adjusting their strategies mid-battle with an instinctive flair that defied all logic. His crew, spurred by adrenaline, was a whirlwind of creativity and resilience. Each time the Empire targeted them, the humans had found new ways to counterattack. It was almost as if they thrived on the Empire's arrogance, using it as fuel for their unexpected ingenuity. As another wave of enemy fire illuminated the darkness of space, Lang issued a rallying call. "Listen up, everyone! They think we're a joke. Let's show them the punchline!" His voice rang out, electric with enthusiasm. The crew erupted with cheers, the atmosphere charged with a sense of defiance that surpassed mere survival. They were fighters, and they would not be cowed. The human ships began their next assault, launching waves of drones again. Only this time, they weren't just carrying EMP devices. They were rigged with blinding flares designed to disrupt the Empire's targeting systems. As they hurtled toward the Galactic fleet, brilliant bursts of light filled the void, overwhelming sensors and blinding crew members on the Flagship. The Empire's officers, already on edge, flailed in confusion, unable to track their quarry through the dazzling chaos. "Focus fire!" Karek shouted, frustration mounting as he struggled to maintain command. Yet his officers were scrambling, struggling to regain clarity amid the chaos. The human forces exploited this moment, darting in and out of the fray, launching torpedoes that struck the Empire's ships at unexpected angles. Each explosion rattled the Flagship, each jolt sending waves of panic through the ranks. In the midst of this turmoil, Lang continued to broadcast his taunts. "Hey, folks! Did you know we have a thing called teamwork? That's right! You might want to take notes. His laughter echoed through the calm channels, a cacophony of mockery that seeped into the minds of the Empire's officers. This was a battle not just of weapons, but of wills. The human spirit, unyielding and vibrant, was becoming a formidable weapon in its own right. The Empire, disoriented and frustrated, tried to re-establish their battle formation. Karek issued new commands, his voice strained as he attempted to rally his crew. "Bring us around! We need to regroup!" But the humans were relentless. Every time the Galactic fleet attempted to form a cohesive unit, the human ships adapted, splitting into smaller groups, launching unexpected flanking maneuvers, and executing hit-and-run tactics that kept the Empire off balance. As Karek fought to maintain order, his tactical advisor suddenly reported, "Sir, they've activated their last resort protocols. They're engaging their experimental weapons." A murmur of concern rippled through the bridge. The Empire had always regarded human technology as obsolete, but in this moment, they faced a weapon born from desperation and innovation. Across the battlefield, the human ships began deploying modified weapons, projectiles designed to mimic the enemy's own energy signatures. The Empire's sensors couldn't distinguish between the genuine attacks and the clever decoys. The chaos multiplied, and soon, friendly fire began to hit enemy vessels, causing confusion among the ranks. The humans had taken their unpredictability to a new level, transforming their weaknesses into a unique form of strength. Karek's frustration reached a boiling point as he surveyed the scene. "We are being outmaneuvered by primitives!" he barked, feeling the weight of humiliation press down on him. "This cannot be happening!" His officers shared nervous glances, their confidence waning as the human onslaught continued, waves crashing against the once mighty Imperial fleet. In this tide of chaos, Captain Lang seized the moment. "All right, team, time to level up. Let's show them what we can do." The crew responded with fervor, each member ignited by a spirit of unity and resilience. They launched their experimental weaponry with renewed vigor, employing strategies that had only been dreams just hours before. As they unleashed their fury, the tide began to turn even further. The Empire's flagship found itself in the eye of a storm, pelted by projectiles that had taken the Empire's own energy signatures and turned them against them. A sudden explosion rocked the flagship, causing alarms to blare and lights to flicker ominously. Karek struggled to regain control, his heart pounding as he grasped the depth of their predicament. This was no longer a battle for territory. It was a fight for survival against an enemy that was far more resourceful than they had ever anticipated. "Divert all power to the shields," he commanded, but the words felt hollow as another barrage of attacks erupted from the human fleet, and they began to sustain more significant damage. The crew scrambled to respond, trying to salvage what remained of their strategic advantage. Yet, it was clear they were losing ground. With each passing moment, Captain Lang and his crew grew bolder. They fed off the Empire's confusion, their laughter echoing through the comms, creating a sense of camaraderie and strength among the human vessels. "Look at them," Lang said, his voice booming with energy. "They're about as coordinated as a herd of space cows." As the battle raged on, the Galactic Empire found itself ensnared in a web of its own making, arrogance, underestimating an enemy that thrived on unpredictability and improvisation. The humans had turned the tide, and in their audacity, they had transformed fear into laughter, humiliation into unity. The Empire, once invincible, faced a reality it had never anticipated, an enemy that fought not just with weapons, but with sheer will and unyielding spirit. The fate of the Galactic fleet hung precariously in the balance as the humans continued their relentless assault, each strike a reminder of their resilience and creativity. Captain Lang stood at the helm, surveying the battle raging outside. The chaos of the fight had transformed into a symphony of chaos and defiance. As the human ships executed their daring maneuvers, Lang felt a surge of confidence pulse through him. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity, and now it was time to press their advantage. "Status report," Lang barked, his voice cutting through the noise of the command deck. His crew, now accustomed to the high-stakes atmosphere, scrambled to provide updates. The monitors flashed with data, displaying enemy ship damage and human casualties. Despite the losses, the morale of his crew remained high, their laughter echoing through the cockpit as they celebrated each minor victory. "Sir, the Empire's flagship is down to 50% operational capacity," one officer shouted, grinning broadly. "We've disabled their front shields." "Excellent! Time to unleash our secret weapon," Lang declared, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Prep the EMP drones." The crew erupted into action, fingers flying over consoles. They knew the plan well: deploy the EMP drones in waves, targeting the flagship first. Their new design was revolutionary, incorporating technology scavenged from various Earth sources and repurposed into effective warfare tools. Each drone was equipped to short-circuit enemy systems, disrupt communications, and temporarily incapacitate the enemy fleet. "Drones are ready, Captain," another crew member announced, his voice filled with excitement. "Launch them on my mark," Lang ordered. 3, 2, 1, launch! A fleet of drones shot forth from their ships, darting through the void of space like fireflies, each one seeking its target with laser precision. The humans watched anxiously, hearts pounding, as the drones closed in on the Imperial flagship. The moment the first EMP hit its target, a bright flash erupted, followed by a ripple effect as systems began to fail. Alarms blared across the flagship as chaos erupted on board. Lang's laughter was contagious. "Look at them scramble! They didn't see that coming!" As the drones did their work, the Empire's cohesion began to falter. Crew members on the flagship were thrown into disarray, desperately trying to regain control as essential systems short-circuited. Communications went dark, and the fleet's once imposing might was reduced to confusion and panic. "Prepare to engage with the main fleet," Lang commanded. "Let's hit them while they're down." The human vessels surged forward, emboldened by their success. They charged into the fray, weaving between enemy fire with a reckless abandon that spoke to their determination. Each ship moved like a predator, ready to seize the moment and strike hard. On the flagship, Karek struggled to maintain command amidst the escalating chaos. "Get those drones offline!" he shouted, frustration boiling over. "We cannot let them gain any more ground." But the drones had already done their damage. Communications were down, and the Imperial officers were losing their grip. Without coordination, their formations crumbled, and the remaining ships began to drift aimlessly, becoming easy targets for the human fleet. Lang's crew pressed the attack, unleashing a barrage of laser fire that lit up the darkness of space. "They're falling apart!" Lang cheered, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "Keep the pressure on! We can't let up now!" The human strategy shifted, as they moved in for the kill. Each human ship employed their unique modifications, launching makeshift missiles and utilizing shield-busting techniques developed through sheer necessity. They fought with unorthodox tactics, blending science with creativity, turning what could have been a disadvantage into a defining strength. As the battle raged on, Captain Lang broadcasted his own message to the Empire. "Hey, Galactic Empire! Are you feeling okay? Because you look a little shocked." The taunts echoed through the calm channels, and the laughter of his crew drowned out the desperation on the other end. Inside the flagship, Karek slammed his fist against the console in frustration. "Why can't we beat them? They're just primitive humans." His advisor, now visibly shaken, replied, "Sir, they are adapting faster than we anticipated. We've underestimated their ingenuity." The humans, buoyed by their successes, made their final push. They broke into smaller groups, launching coordinated strikes against the remaining Imperial ships. In the chaos, they employed psychological warfare alongside their tactical maneuvers, broadcasting jokes and light-hearted commentary that seeped into the minds of the alien crew. "Hey, Karek!" Lang called out mockingly over the comms. "I thought you said we were easy pickings? Looks like you picked the wrong fruit." The Galactic officers felt the sting of humiliation as Lang's laughter echoed in their ears. It was a strategy unlike any they had encountered, a fusion of humor and relentless spirit that disarmed their confidence. The humans were not just fighting back, they were reveling in the moment. With their flagship nearing the brink of failure, Karek issued a final desperate command. All ships regroup. We need to concentrate our fire. But it was too late. The human fleet had mastered the art of adaptability, quickly dividing and reforming, evading the Empire's remaining firepower. They exploited the Empire's own confusion, picking off the flagship's escorts one by one. Now, let's finish this! Lang shouted, rallying his crew. They charged toward the flagship, focusing their firepower for one final assault. As they approached, Lang's voice rang with conviction. For Earth! In a spectacular display of combined firepower, the remaining human vessels unleashed a torrent of energy against the flagship. The blinding beam struck true, overwhelming the last remnants of the flagship's defenses. Direct hit! Someone cried out, and the screen lit up with the explosion of the flagship. The once mighty vessel disintegrated in a burst of fire and debris, leaving behind a void where the Empire had expected dominance. With the flagship destroyed, the remaining Imperial fleet began to falter. The few surviving ships turned tail, fleeing from the battlefield in a desperate bid for survival. Look at them run! Lang laughed heartily, his voice full of triumph. We did it, everyone! We showed them what humanity is made of! As the dust settled, the humans realized the magnitude of their victory. They had not only defended Earth but had sent a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity was a force to be reckoned with, fueled by resilience, creativity, and an unyielding spirit. As they celebrated, Lang took a moment to reflect. This battle was more than just a military victory. It was a testament to the strength of humanity. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious, proving that even in the depths of despair, laughter and ingenuity could turn the tide. The remnants of the Galactic Empire would carry their tale back to the stars, a story of humanity's audacity and the unbreakable will to fight against all odds. In the vast expanse of the universe, the echoes of their laughter would resonate, a reminder that even in the face of danger, humanity would rise, unwavering and proud.